And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba, and welcome. Welcome to another round of the Conscious Roster Report here on LIV Radio, LIV TV, and livinginblack.com. My name is Keith Waterway, aka the Conscious Roster. Weekday mornings, you and I get together live. We come at you from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m. East Africa time. We get together with you, and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives. We deal with entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family, conflict, future studies, all areas of human interactivity and development. Today's date is Wednesday, the 8th day of October, 2025 in the Western calendar, Gregorian calendar. This corresponds to the year 6266 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we have realigned our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, here on livinginblack.com. I think I have a program for today that you most certainly will enjoy. This is a feel-good program today, but it's also very instructional. Very instructional. Today we are revisiting blue zones for lessons on longevity and the link between longevity and happiness, mental health. Let's talk about the subject for today. Here's the introduction today on LIB Radio. We look at a subset of the groundbreaking research into the blue zones, the book by Daniel Buettner that explores why people in 6 zones around the planet live to robust longevity. Our focus is on the Italians and their secrets to lasting health and vitality. They enjoy a combination of grit, acceptance of diversity, positive attitude, family connections, and a link and family connection and a link to both the land and religion, how it gives them a sense of purpose and improves their mental health. Better mental health clearly leads to longer, healthy lifespans. Better mental health clearly leads to better, longer, healthy lifespan. So that is our subject matter for today. I hope you do enjoy it. First, I want to show a short piece of video here for those of you tuning in. I'm going to share this video also with you, and hopefully you and I will be inspired, informed by this short piece of video. It's just a minute or so long, but it does, in my opinion, it does give us a clear idea of what these blue zones are all about. So this piece of video I'm going to add to the stage, and let's play this featuring Dan Buettner, the author of The Blue Zones. This is entitled The 5 Pillars of Blue Zones and this deals with the longevity diet very specifically. Here we go. Wait a minute. Let's do this one more time with the sound on. Let's turn on the sound, reset the video, and start it one more time.
The 5 pillars of every longevity diet in the world are whole grains, greens, tubers like sweet potatoes, nuts, and beans. In fact, if you're eating about a cup of beans a day, it's probably adding about 4 years to your life expectancy. They are eating some meat, but on average only about 5 times per month. Way less fish and fewer eggs than you would think. No cow's dairy in blue zones, by the way. And when they're drinking, it's mostly water, about 6 glasses a day, teas and coffee. Because if you want to know what a centenarian ate to live to be 100, you have to know what they were eating when they were 10 and when they were young adults and middle age and retired. You can't just ask a centenarian what they've been eating lately. And what emerges a very clear pattern, whether you're in Asia, Europe, Latin America, United States, they're eating 90 to 100% whole food plant-based. The 5 pillars of
I'm going to
every
let this
longevity
replay
diet
a
in the
second
world
time. Very important
are
information.
whole grains, greens, tubers like sweet potatoes, nuts, and beans. In fact, if you're eating about a cup of beans a day, it's probably adding about 4 years to your life expectancy. They
Now,
are
I want
eating
to point out that he is talking about what these people eat throughout life. And he says when it comes to legumes or pulses, you might call them, the people are eating, he says, if you eat about a cup of beans a day, you're adding 4 years to your life expectancy. Now, first of all, I'm going to have to add that to my longevity calculator because I eat beans about 5 days a week. Right now, I think I am eating beans even more than 5 days a week. So that's a critical point. And he talked about eating meat. I want you to listen very carefully what he says when he talks about eating meat. He says that eating meat probably 4 to 5 times a month. And dairy, he emphasizes that the people are eating no dairy, none. So I want you to listen carefully to what he has to say. I'm going to add this one insert, and I'm going to add eat beans daily to my longevity calculator, and that adds 4 years on average according to Dan Buettner. Let me go back and I'm going to replay the video from the very beginning and let you hear it all without any interruption from myself. This is Dan Buettner, the author of the book The Blue Zones.
The 5 pillars of every longevity diet in the world are whole grains, greens, tubers like sweet potatoes, nuts, and beans. In fact, if you're eating about a cup of beans a day, it's probably adding about 4 years to your life expectancy. They are eating some meat, but on average only about 5 times per month. Way less fish and fewer eggs than you would think. No cow's dairy in blue zones, by the way. And when they're drinking, it's mostly water, about 6 glasses a day, teas and coffee. Because if you want to know what a centenarian ate to live to be 100, you have to know what they were eating when they were 10 and when they were young adults and middle age and retired. You can't just ask a centenarian what they've been eating lately. And what emerges a very clear pattern, whether you're in Asia, Europe, Latin America, United States, they're eating 90 to 100% whole food plant-based. The
90 to 100% whole food plant-based diet. There it is. Now you know what Daniel Buettner knows and what many of us who have set our lives around the idea of longevity, healthy longevity, the way that we live. This is the way I live. And I think many of you agree as well. I'd love to hear from you today. If you're in the house, give us a quick shout out. I'm posting the link that I just shared up on on Rumble page, as well as posting it up on my Facebook page and posting it on our YouTube for right now. We got a lot of research I have pulled up for today. It's not going to be a real long program. I'm going to do the best I can to keep things now under an hour. Next, I'm going to go to an email I received today. And this is from the editor-in-chief of the Longevity Journal. His name is Andrew Peliquin. And he wrote the following, and I quote, "There are a number of places in the world where people live longer than average lives. In these blue zones, as they are called, it is common for people to reach 100 years of age at a far higher than average rate." It's far more common to reach 100 years, far at a higher average rate than what we have been accustomed to. Now, here, bear with me. I'm just posting that link as well. Researchers have spent more than a decade now examining these blue zones to try and figure out why this happens. Every aspect of life in the blue zones have been under scrutiny, and the results of the research have provided amazing insights into graceful aging. One in particular I found fascinating and wanted to share with you. Since 2016, the Salento Initiative on Aging Outcomes, nicknamed the CHOW study, has been studying the residents of the southern Italian region, Polica Salento in Salerno, that is home to more than 300 residents over the age of 100, and crucially are in, quote, robust health. Aside from these centenarians, the whole region is known for the longer than average lifespan of its residents. Over the last decade, the CHOW study has collected amazing insights into what contributes to this long lifespan. According to their data, exceptional longevity was characterized by a balance between acceptance of and grit to overcome adversities, along with a positive attitude and close ties to family, religion, and the land, providing purpose in life. The data found that the study participants over the age of 90 tended to have poorer physical health than their family members between the ages of 51 and 75, but their mental health was noticeably better than their younger counterparts. The combination of grit, acceptance of adversity, positive attitude, family connections, and a link to both the land and religion gave them a sense of purpose and improved their mental health. Better mental health, in turn, clearly leads to their longer life spans. A cross-sectional sampling of data taken from 90 and 100-year-olds found that those who lived longer didn't smoke, had lower LDL cholesterol levels, and lower fasting glucose levels. Though they were less likely to take medications, they tended to be physically active. This combination led not only lower the risk of heart disease, but also fewer symptoms in cases of existing cardiovascular conditions. Another fascinating discovery was that those over 90 were less likely to have oxidative stress markers in their brain, which put them at a lower risk for Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. The researchers who discovered this concluded that this may be the result of their adherence to a Mediterranean diet versus eating more Western processed and junk food, which is common among younger generations. Let's get that right. These instructions this was over a lifetime of living. From age 10, they started measuring these people. And they found that they ate far, far less Western diet, processed food, junk food. And it said this is common among younger generations. So if you are going to live this longevity, you want to start as early as possible. However, other lifestyle factors, such as their greater activity levels and lower disease risk, may also be at play. Finally, the researchers found that people who lived longer tend to experience less loneliness, but demonstrated greater wisdom. People who suffered from loneliness typically also experience worse health overall, as well as lower feelings of happiness and less sleep quality. Those who demonstrated greater wisdom had better health scores, greater happiness, and better sleep quality. Those who demonstrated greater wisdom had better health scores, greater happiness, and better sleep quality. What lessons can you and I learn from all of this information? Number one, have a positive attitude. The way you react to and approach life can have a direct impact on your longevity and your aging. So that's number one. Have a positive attitude. Number two, live a healthier life. Don't smoke. Drink in moderation, or I say don't drink at all. Eat raw and natural foods. Follow a plant-forward diet rich in clean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains, and exercise as often as you can. As often as you can. For me, that's 3 times a day. And those 3 times a day include a whole bunch of different exercises. Next, number 3, connect with people. The more connections you make, friends, family, co-workers, social clubs, etc., the less likely you are to be lonely. Take these steps today. You may just set yourself down the path that leads to a healthier, happier, and above all, longer lifespan. Now, again, that was written by Andrew Peliquin, editor-in-chief of the Longevity Journal. And I highly recommend, if you can check out him on the Longevity Journal and Longevity Journal. I'll give you a link to that so you can sign up for this email as well. I do highly recommend you do sign up for the Longevity Journal and copy, paste it here on my Facebook page, paste it again on my Facebook page, and also paste it on the Rumble page, and for my YouTube listeners on my YouTube channel, here is the link for the Longevity Journal. Highly recommend that you sign up. It's a good investment. So we're going to go forward. Next, we're going to go to the 5 pillars. And again, this is from Wikipedia. And it talks about Dan Buettner, a biography on him. Wikipedia. And let me give you this link. For those of you who don't have access to the book or have not read the book, or if you have already read the book, supplemental information will only bring you better opportunities to be the wise person that you always intended to be. So bear with me. This is well worth waiting for. I think it is. I hope it is. And okay, here's Dan Buettner on Wikipedia. Let's see what Wikipedia has to say about that. And this is not the entire article there, just an excerpts from there. Dan Buettner, born June 18, 1960, is an American author, explorer, storyteller, longevity researcher, and public speaker. He co-produced the 3-time Emmy award-winning documentary TV miniseries Live to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones 2023, based on his book by the same name, and holds 3 Guinness records for distance cycling. Buettner is the founder of Blue Zones LLC. He is a National Geographic Fellow. And let me see if I can pull this mini-series up. I'm not going to watch it right now, but I will revisit it a little bit later today. So pulling up this 3-part mini series, Live to Be 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones. And here it is on I am, let me find the video. Let me see if I can find videos. And it is up on the web. And here I'm just going to just copy the video search and paste that. How's that? Because it's in a bunch of different places and fragment, and I don't have time to look for the one that I will send you to right now, but you can always look for it yourself. Here we go. We continue. Buettner is a promoter of plant-based diets. From his research on blue zones, and has authored numerous books on the subject, plant-based diets. That's vegan. Now, we're going to pull out 10 points from the book, The Blue Zones, that he covers in the documentary films and across his writing. So, revisiting the Blue Zones book by Daniel Buettner. That's the theme for today. Number 1, move naturally. Every day, low-intensity movement is woven into life rather than confined to a gym routine. In blue zones, people walk, garden, bike, climb, and perform household tasks that keeps muscles engaged and joints healthy. This pattern limits sedentary time, stabilizes blood sugar, and sustains cardiovascular fitness without the stress of high-intensity workouts. Regular incidental activity supports mobility, balance, and functional independence into old age while promoting better sleep and mood. Designing environments that encourage short walks, stairs, and hands-on tasks, and creating habits around movement breaks yields long-term benefits far greater than sporadic, intense bursts. Nice, good point. And I'm learning from this as well. I'm teaching myself. I hope you hear it. Next, plant-forward diet. Diets in blue zones center on legumes, whole grains, vegetables, fruits, nuts, and modest amounts of fish or dairy. And Daniel Buettner, in his conversation on YouTube, he said no cow's milk, dairy. They do consume goat's milk and I guess camel milk. I don't know. But they do not consume dairy milk, with meat eaten very rarely. Plant foods deliver fiber, phytonutrients, and micronutrients that reduce inflammation, support gut health, and moderate blood sugar. Legumes are a primary protein source, offering sustained energy, nitrogen balance, and satiety without excess saturated fat. Smaller portion sizes and fewer processed foods lower caloric excess and metabolic stress. Emphasizing seasonal, minimally processed ingredients fosters nutrient density and culinary variety, creating pleasurable meals that support weight stability, cardiovascular health, and lower chronic disease risk over the course of decades. Plant-forward diet. Number 3 on the list, the 80% rule. The 80% principle encourages stopping eating when about 80% full, preventing habitual overeating and chronic caloric surplus. Practicing mindfulness at meals, slowing down, savoring flavors, and pausing between bites helps internal satiety. Cues catch up with intake. Helps internal satiety cues catch up with intake. Sorry about that. Culturally embedded rituals like finishing conversations before seconds or using smaller plates make restraint easier and sustainable. Consistently avoiding the last few bites habit reduces insulin spikes, visceral fat accumulation, and gastro-metabolic strain over time. Let me repeat that. Consistently avoiding the last few bites habit reduces insulin spikes, visceral fat accumulation, and gastro-metabolic strain over time. This moderate eating habit improves digestion, stabilizes energy, and supports longevity by lowering obesity-related inflammation and chronic disease risk without strict dieting or deprivation. There you have it. And I do the best I can to practice as many of these as I possibly can. But after today's study, I promise you, I'm going to be doing better. Number 4, moderate alcohol in social contexts. In many blue zones, moderate wine or fermented drink consumption occurs regularly, but within communal meals and rituals rather than isolated binge drinking. Low to moderate alcohol intake, particularly red wine with meals, is associated with cardiovascular benefits in observational studies, possibly due to polyphenols and improved social bonding. Crucially, consumption is moderate, infrequent, and paired with food and conversation, which slows absorption and reduces risky behavior. The protective association vanishes with heavy consumption. So cultural norms that limit frequency and emphasize moderation are key. Social rituals both reduce loneliness and make moderate drinking part of a health supportive lifestyle rather than a coping mechanism. And I guess that throws binge drinking completely out. And for so many reasons, I strongly advise against anyone binge drinking. The young people, especially young people between the ages of 21 and 28, their wild years, don't go there. Don't go there. Cut it out of your life and enjoy the benefits of being young, being energetic, being vibrant, and being sober. Number 5, sense of purpose. Have a clear purpose, an ikigai, or plan de vida. Gives daily structure, goals, and motivation, which correlate with better mental health and longevity. Having a clear purpose. I'm going to read it again. Having a clear purpose, or ikigai is a Japanese word, or plan de vida, Spanish, gives daily structure, goals, and motivation, which correlate with better mental health and longevity. Purpose drives activity, social engagement, and persistence through setbacks, encouraging people to maintain routines and recover from illness. It reduces stress reactivity, fosters healthier choices, and aligns daily actions with long-term meaning, improving adherence to sleep, diet, and movement habits. Purpose can come from work, family roles, volunteering, or spiritual practices. Scale and income matter less than consistent engagement. Cultivating meaningful roles, mentoring younger generations, or committing to community tasks strengthens identity and offers emotional resilience across life stages. And that's very, very important. How many of us are out here just kind of kicking it, wandering around without a sense of purpose in life, who are just selfish, working only for what we feel, what we need, what we desire, what we want. No, we can do better than that. Ikigai, a sense of purpose. It's bigger than I am. It's very important. Live it, enjoy it, and live long. I'll drink to that. And today I'm having chlorophyll water. Number 6, downshift stress. Blue zones incorporate daily routines to manage stress. Prayer, naps, tea breaks, or evening walks that lower chronic cortisol exposure and systemic inflammation. Regular stress reduction improves immune function, sleep quality, and cardiovascular markers, and it enhances decision making and emotional regulation. Simple, brief practices repeated consistently, such as deep breathing, short restorative naps, or communal downtime, have outsized effects compared with sporadic vacations. Social support and predictable routines also buffer stressors, making adversity easier to navigate. Embedding small, non-negotiable stress relief habits into everyday life prevents the cumulative damage of chronic worry and fosters clearer priorities, better recovery, and longer-term health. That's a good one. Number 7, and these are all kind of going into the stages of mental, spiritual health from this point on. Number 7, belong and believe. Participation in faith-based or community groups provides social cohesion, shared rituals, and practical support, correlating with longer lifespan in multiple studies. Regular attendance or belonging to a spiritual community reinforces healthy norms, dietary restraint, mutual aid, and purposeful roles, while providing emotional comfort and a network for caregiving. These groups often offer ritualized meaning making around life transitions, reducing existential distress, and promoting coping strategies. Benefits arise from the combination of social integration, normative behavioral cues, and stress buffering, not merely religious doctrine. Building or joining stable communities creates reciprocal relationships that sustain members through illness, grief, and aging. Next, number 8 on the list, put family first. Number 8, put family first. Intergenerational households prioritize caregiving roles, and strong family ties are common in blue zones and protect against loneliness, depression, and functional decline. Families provide practical assistance, meal preparation, transportation, medications, while offering emotional continuity and identity across generations. Elders retain social roles and purpose, and younger family members inherit healthy customs and culinary traditions. Family-first cultures also shape financial and housing decisions to favor proximity and mutual caregiving over isolating independence. Investing in family relationships builds resilience to stress and illness, reduces institutionalization, and promotes behaviors supportive of long-term health, such as shared meals, caregiving reciprocity, and collective problem solving. So put family first. That is great, great instructions if I were to be asked about it. Next, number 9, social circles influence habits. Social circles influence habits. Close-knit friend groups in blue zones reinforce health supportive behaviors through modeling, accountability, and shared activities. These MOAs, or social cohorts, cultivate norms around diet, movement, and sobriety, making healthy choices socially rewarding and easier to sustain. Peer influence shapes daily habits more powerfully than individual willpower. When friends walk together, share meals, or prioritize sleep, members internalize these routines. Social networks also provide emotional scaffolding during setbacks, reducing stress-related relapse into unhealthy coping. Building intentional social groups aligned with wellness goals amplifies success. Recruit peers for regular walks, meal sharing, or accountability around sleep and alcohol moderation to harness social reinforcement. And that's moderation of alcohol is a very important task. Many of us, when we're involved in social circles, we're actually there to get drunk, to drink. That's not good. That's never, ever going to contribute to your healthy longevity and well-being. And lastly, number 10 on the list, environment and low toxins. Physical and built environments in blue zones often minimize exposure to pollutants, heavily processed foods, and sedentary traps, shaping behavior passively toward healthier patterns. Walkable villages, accessible fresh produce, clean air, and limited fast food density reduce barriers to nutritious eating and regular activity. Reduced chemical exposures, lower industrial pollution, minimal household toxins, and less reliance on processed ingredients lower cumulative bodily burden and chronic inflammation risk. Designing neighborhoods, workplaces, and homes to make healthier defaults easy. Safe walking routes, community gardens, and low toxicity building materials produces population level gains. Environmental shaping shifts responsibility from individual willpower to structural affordances that support long, healthy lives. So that takes us through the research for today. Again, the 10 points from Daniel Buettner's book on the 10 points we talked about. Number 1, move naturally. 2, plant-based diet. 3, 80% rule, meaning 80% of your belly is full when you stop eating. Number 4, moderate alcohol in social context. He does not recommend white whiskey or brown whiskey. He recommends red wine in a social context. So if you're having dinner and having red wine with that dinner, that's probably not ever going to be a problem. Number 5, sense of purpose. Number 6, downshift your stress. Number 7, belong and believe. Number 8, put family first. Number 9, social circles influence your healthy habits. And number 10, environment and low toxins. So that is the breakdown on Daniel Buettner's book. I did include a review of his book in my book my book was entitled Living Superfood Longevity. And I do highly recommend my book, Living Superfood Longevity. And he did talk about eating beans. Highly recommend. Wait a minute, pause this. Living Superfood Longevity. Yeah, mute it, not pause it. And so I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for tuning in today. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button. Would love to share with you. If you are on Facebook, you have access to these links that I shared, and you have access to me to communicate as well. If you are on our Rumble page, let me put up a link to my book library so that you can have access to it on Rumble. I do see one person did join in and sign in today, and that is Nguvu Sawubona. Is there a common thread to all of the blue zones? Yes, there are mutual common threads, and we talked about that earlier when I showed the video. My guess is they don't eat a lot, if any at all, processed food. Yes, what they have in common are the basics. There are 6 things in common to the blue zones that he mentions, and let me just mention those 6. Those 6 things in common are and I mentioned them. Did I mention them? Well, there were the 6 things mentioned in the short piece of video. So let me put the video. I'm going to put the video. There are 5 pillars of the diet. Now, one thing is very true, that in the blue zones, diet is very, very key. Exercise, motion is very key. Managing your stress, very key. Not engaging in risky behaviors or stressful behaviors, such as binge drinking. Smoking cigarettes is absolutely out. So that's really kind of the 10 points that I was making there at the end, even though the blue zones, I'm just going to recommend, if you can't read the book, to find Dan Buettner talking about his book on all across the web, because there are keys here. And I'm trying right now to put up links. And you're asking a good question, but I just spent the last hour or close to 50 minutes or so really kind of answering that question. So yes, there are keys, and several of which I just repeated. So on that note, I'm kind of trying to get out of here, and I want to just put up this into the chat. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you if you could be a supporter. Any one of you out there, you can support our ongoing LIB radio outreach by buying a book a month. How's that? Go to http keidi.biz/CRP 2012. So if anybody out there thinks that we should be beneficiaries of your support, I highly encourage you to do so to the best of your abilities. It's going to be kind of lean around here, beginning October, November, and December every year, and going into January. Last year it extended well into January. It was the leanest time ever. We had the lowest number of book sales because people were shopping for their family for the holidays. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do encourage that as a Christmas present. Why not give your baby boomer relatives or parents or grandparents, why not buy a copy of Living Superfood Longevity or 100 Plus Lifespan? That's probably a pretty good idea. So on that note, I am wrapping it up for today. It's been a good day. It's going to be a great day on your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV, and livinginblack.com. Tell your friends to tune in. I know you have friends and associates. That's part of your instructions for today, is to develop close relationships. So tell your friends to tell their friends to tune in. And do the things that bring you all closer, much closer together. Share a feast once a month. Socialize. Do all of the things that you know are wise and contributing to your healthy lifespan of longevity. You've been tuned into LIB Radio, LIB TV, livinginblack.com. I say peace and prosperity to each and every one of you on your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are livinginblack.com. Peace, y'all.